My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you're here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins and the grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. There is this old saying that you might have heard: you are what you eat. It's not always absolutely the case, but it is pretty clear that the things that we eat, things that we use to nourish our body, are going to determine in many ways what we look like physically, how we feel. Some things makes us lean, other things make us fat. Some things make us feel good, healthy, other things might make us feel sick. Like if we're intolerant to a certain kind of food and we eat it, obviously what we put into our bodies, what we put into our mouths, affect the way we are, the way we behave. Something similar could be said about soul. What you put into your soul, especially through your eyes, what you watch, what you read, is going to determine, not completely, but it's going to affect the way your soul behaves, the quality of your interior life. Maybe this is what Jesus is referring to as he says to his disciples, as we will read today in the Gospel. The lamp of the body is the eye. If your eye is sound, your whole body will be filled with light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be in darkness. And if the light in you is darkness, how great will the darkness be? The lamp of the body is the eye. The lamp of the soul, or the window to the soul, we could say, is the eye. If we are watching and reading things that are good for us, that are healthy, that are enriching, our soul will be healthy, rich. On the opposite, if what we're reading, what we're watching is useless or is bad, then our soul will be affected by that in a negative way. We see examples of this in the history of the church. We can go all the way back to King David, who we know sinned as he was curiously looking out the window and he sees the beautiful Bathsheba bathing. And probably he looked a little bit too long. He noticed how beautiful she was and he fell in love with her. Bathsheba, as we know, was already married. But David lets that sin get into his heart. He commits adultery and later on would end up sending her husband to die in battle. Because she had not controlled his heart. It was led into temptation by his curiosity, looking out the window, noticing this beautiful woman, and indulging in that temptation. He let that darkness in through the eyes of his heart. Thankfully, God will give David an opportunity to find conversion, but the sin he committed was great. On the other side, we could think of St. Ignatius of Loyola, who many years after In Spain, in Pamplona, was a young soldier full of heroic dreams. He had been reading all his youth books about knights and great battles, and he wanted to be a great soldier. He wanted to be in great battles and conquer the enemy. He became a soldier, actually, but then, being hurt in battle, he is forced to stay in bed and recover. And during those long weeks of recovery, not having much to do, not having much to read, he ends up reading what he could find, which were mostly lives of saints and mostly the life of our Lord Jesus Christ. And in reading these books, he finds that conversion. And life of saint after life of saint, he feels called to imitate Jesus Christ, to follow Jesus Christ. We know the rest of the story. He ends up following our Lord. And in doing that, he founds the Jesuits, changed not only his own life, but the lives of so many people. And we could say the church in so many ways, doing so much good. He let the light of Christ enter his heart by reading the life of Jesus, by reading the lives of saints. If your eye is sound, Jesus tells us, your whole body will be filled with light. In the case of King David, his eye was not sound, and he let darkness in. In the case of Ignatius of Loyola, his eye turned very sound by reading those great books. And his whole body was filled with the light of Christ, transformed. How are you and I feeding our souls? Jesus, what am I putting into my heart? What am I watching? What am I reading? And yeah, I guess spending a few minutes, maybe an hour, watching trivial videos on TikTok and Instagram or YouTube, I guess it's not too bad. But the problem is, we're filling our hearts with things that are not really that helpful. There's a lot of good things on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, I guess. But not everything is that good. There's a lot of bad stuff too, obviously. Hopefully, we try to avoid them. But even some things that might be indifferent or might seem just fun, they might be distracting us. They might be filling our hearts with darkness and not letting God in. Let us look for good things to read. Let us look for good things to watch. Let us look for that light that Christ wants to fill our hearts with. It's out there. There are many good things that we can watch and read. Gotta make an effort to find them. We need to make an effort to push away those things that are really not helpful. And even more decidedly, those things that are actually bad for us. Let us throw them out the window. Let's not waste our time with that. Because we don't want darkness to enter our hearts. Jesus, like Ignatius of Loyola, help me to let your light into my heart. I thank you, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask your help to put them into effect. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.